Well, what is going on? It's Thursday. I work 4/10, so that means it is my Friday. And I'm getting ready to get my weekend started. I'm leaving here. I'm up here in Destin, Florida. Bunch of rich people with big boats. Got a little bit more money than I do. But so I'm headed to the house and I got fishing on the mind. So I figured I'd jump on here and talk a little bit about some tactics I'm probably going to use for bass in the morning under the conditions that we got. So the conditions are, we've got high water, it's muddy, and we had a cold front come through yesterday. So we went from a little over a week of 70 and a little bit of 80-degree weather to this morning we got up, or I got up, and it was 30 degrees at the house, and it's high 40s right now. And so that can make the fishing a little more difficult than what you would like. So water is about 12 and a half, 13 foot, which for the river is that I'm fishing is pretty high. But with all the warm weather we've been having, the air temperature is going to be colder than the water. Probably, I mean, the water's temperature is going to be coming down, but it's still going to be relatively warm because it warmed up pretty good when we had that warm spell up into the mid 50s. So I'm kind of going to be, I don't think that the fish have just retreated back to deep holes yet, but they may be on their way. But I don't know. I just have to get out there in the morning and fish around and find out. And but what I do know is that it's muddy and it's high. So to knock one thing off, it's muddy. So I know they're going to be holding tight to cover. So that's what I need to be fishing around is cover. And that's, treetops, laydowns, cypress trees, stumps, whatever kind of cover it is, they're going to be holding tight to it. So yeah, I'm going to be hitting cover. Well, it's going to be high water, so if they hadn't started going back to deep water, they may still be up shallow. So what I'm going to do there is I'm either going to start shallow or start deep and just work my way around and see where I'm finding them at. And you can do either one. They may be starting to move back toward deeper water. But the thing about it is, where I'm going to be fishing at, the deeper water is going to be in the channel, in the creek channel that's running through the swamp. And it's not that much deeper in most places than, up around in the trees outside the channel. But it is deeper water, and you know, they could probably get down in that channel and find a little bit more comfortable water temperature once that water really does cool down. If it ever does, I don't know. I really don't know how long it's going to be cold. So it may not even cool down that much. But what I'm going to be using is probably a jig or a plastic, either one. Maybe a jerk bait, and maybe a chatterbait or a spinnerbait, and some kind of crankbait. I don't use lipless crankbaits out there that much because there's just a whole lot to get hung on. But I do use them some, especially, you know, fishing main channel. But maybe like a square bill, or since the water's up, you know, it's up, you know, 6, 7, 8 foot high. So I might could get away with maybe a medium diving crankbait. So I just have to get out there and, you know, just throw some stuff around, figure it out. But those are going to be the baits I'm probably going to be using tomorrow. I'll probably start out, I might start out with a jig. And I'm going to be downsizing, you know, instead of, which I use a lot of smaller weights, you know, smaller jigs and smaller weights on my Texas rigs anyway, because there's not a lot of cover that I need to really have it something real heavy to you know, punch through or get through. So I use a lot of smaller jigs and stuff out there anyway. So downsizing is maybe going from a 1/4 ounce to a 1/8, something like that. But I'm at a red light. But yeah, so downsize your baits. You know, if you usually use like a 1/2 ounce or a 3/8 jig, you know, go to a 1/4 ounce. If you're usually, you know, using big plastics, you know, go to a smaller finesse style, or, you know, worm, or a smaller creature bait or something like that. You know, downsize your baits and fish slow. Even like a spinnerbait or a chatterbait, slow roll that thing. But like them jigs and my plastics, a lot of times, you know, I'll throw them things up and just hit the tree trunk and just let it slide down. And when it slides down that tree and hits the bottom, I'll sit there and let it sit. I'll reel my slack in just a little bit to where there's just a little bit of slack hanging, and let it set for 30 seconds, a minute, you know, just really let it sit there and soak. And 2 reasons why I leave a little slack in my line is when I do move it, I don't want to bounce it. I don't want to pick it up off the bottom. I just want to drag it. So if you leave a little slack in your line, you can drag it. And then if one does pick it up, because a lot of times they're not going to be really hitting that thing, they'll just come pick it up, and you may not feel it, but you can see your line move. So you need to watch your line. And then I'll drag it, and then I'll just let it sit. And then drag it and let it sit, and I'll run that thing almost all the way back to the boat. And I'll make a few casts like that in the same place. You know, I may move it over here or over there, but it's going to be in the same area. And I'll fish it out. But it's going to take real patient fishing. And I do that, you know, the same thing with a plastic, with a Texas rig. Now, say like a spinner bait, I'm just going to slow roll that thing, pretty close to the bottom, if not dragging the bottom with it. And if I hit something down there, I stop it, and then I slowly just drag it over whatever it is and let it fall for a second, and then I start reeling again. And and just run a spinner bait, even a crankbait, just through the brush, tree tops, lay downs, just run it right through it. And now, like with like a jerk bait, a lot of times I'll run it in the main channel. If I think they're holding in the main channel, I'll throw it in the main channel and just kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Fan cast it all from one side to the other. Coming across the bridge here, it's what they call Crab Island out there. Sorry if my windshield's a little dirty. Yeah. And that is some dirty water out there today. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I done kind of forgot what I was saying. But yeah, it's I really forgot what I was saying. I forgot where I was at. I done got all backwards on looking at the daggone water out there. But yeah, slow fishing. Slow, meticulous fishing. Downsize. I'll probably go with a 1/4 ounce spinnerbait, a smaller, smaller crankbait, the colors, I'll probably using a black and blue or some kind of dark colored, solid colored jig or plastic. And with my spinnerbait, I use like a white and chartreuse or a dark color, like a black, like maybe a solid black or a black and chartreuse with a gold Colorado blade. And in muddy water, I like to use for my crankbaits, I like to use either like a sexy shad or something like that, or like some type of crawl color, red or orange, and some kind of white colored jerk bait. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to be implementing tomorrow. And that's what I was talking about. I was talking about jerk bait. So with that jerk bait, I'm fan casting it from one side of the channel to the other, and I'm just twitching it. Boom, boom. And I'm using a suspended one too, and I just twitch it. Boom, boom. And let it sit for a couple seconds. Boom, boom, boom. And let it sit for a couple seconds. I'm not going to be twitching that thing fast like you would, in warmer water where you can boom, 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 boom. It's just going to be slow, real slow, couple twitches here, 2 or 3 twitches there, and in between let them set for a few seconds. And just fan cast it from one side to the other, get it back to the boat and cast it over here toward the middle, and then, just boom, 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 boom till I get to the other side, and just keep easing up as I go. It's a little bit harder doing this driving than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. I don't know what the water temperature is. I don't have electronics on my boat, and I haven't talked to anybody that might have been out there. But I'm not expecting it to be real cold, because we've only had one night of cold. And it didn't even really start dropping until dark yesterday. So I don't expect it to have dropped too much. But that's what I do early in the spring, or it's really not spring yet, but it's close enough. Post cold front conditions with high water, it's muddy. It may not be an epic day, but I may pick up a few more fish than I would, just going out there throwing around, whatever, but the main thing is figure out where the fish are and go from there. Once you can kind of maybe get a pattern going of what they're hanging around, whether it be trees or laydowns or brush piles. We don't have a lot of vegetation out there, but if we did, that would be a spot you might want to hit is that vegetation. But there's not a lot of it out there where I'm at. But it's a lot of hard cover. Treetops, laydowns, trees, stumps. And sometimes, they may be hanging around laydowns more than they're hanging around anything else. They may be in the bushes. They may be just up against a tree. Get out there and just fish around, kind of get an idea, of where you're catching the majority of your fish at, and then look for that. It helps to have electronics, you can see like a laydown or something on the bottom, but I don't have it, so I was blinding y'all with the sun, wasn't I? But yeah, that's about it. That's what I'm planning on doing in the morning. Not in the morning. I got an eye doctor appointment tomorrow, Saturday morning. So I may have to adjust a little bit. It's supposed to get real cold tonight, so the temperature probably a fall. In the water temperature probably fall a little bit more, but I really won't know till I get out there. But I hope that helps. It was kind of more like a ramble than it was anything, I think, but hey, it is what it is. I'm trying to get to the house. I might try to get out there this evening, I don't know, but I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you learned a little something. I don't know. Maybe you didn't. Maybe I just sound like a big buffoon. I don't know. But I'm going to try to get on to the house. So I'll catch y'all on the video if I get one made. And remember, Jesus loves you, and so do I. Y'all have a blessed day and a blessed week. And get into that Bible. Get into some scripture and seek God and just see how he can change your life. Because he can. He changed mine, and I know he can change yours. And man, I'm telling you, when you experience God, it's an amazing thing. Coming from the background I came from, man, he changed me for the better, I'm telling you. But I'll catch y'all on the next video. Y'all have a good one and be blessed. I'm out.